I am Walenjoy Imakaroy from Bachelor of Elementary Education. Lesson Supplementary Method under the Unit 4 Instructional Strategies and Methods Teaching for Science. Supplementary Method. The main topic are use of instructional aids, dioramas or museums, models, inference or mastery boxes, use of audio aids, use of audio and visual aids, use of self-instructional materials or technology. Before we proceed to our main discussions, let's take a look on this quote. Albert Dorrit rightly said that it is easier to believe what you see than what you hear. But if you both see and hear, then you can understand more readily and retain more lastingly. This is what we call to see is to believe. Okay, first is use of instructional materials, and that is the dioramas or museums. Dioramas are physically boxes built to showcase learning on a subject matter. And it is a scene that captures a single moment in a time. It is a series of real motions of pictures. And it is a way to incorporate craft projects into the understanding of a topic. Museums are important educational environments. It is because it offers considerable learning potential. An effective use of museums can lead to multifaceted learning. Museums also help pupils understand the historical value of objects, respect diverse cultures, and understand multiculturalism. In science, the library museums, it could be a laboratory museums where the objects or the materials that used in science or in chemistry are there. So that is the use of instructional aids, which is dioramas and museums. For example, a diorama of a rainforest would use very different materials than a diorama of a desert. So let's take a look on this picture. This is the example of diorama of a rainforest. And next is the use of models. Use of models, it is a representation of an idea, object, event, process, or system. Model has a three-dimensional effect on the mind of the student, and it helps in applications of complex ideas. This is by clarifying the structure of a complex phenomenon. Models, it also by reducing it is to simpler and more familiar terms. And it helps us for the students to interpret the representations observed through questions. So it allows learning to ask questions. One example of a two-dimensional model is Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. Leonardo da Vinci created many of these wonderful two-dimensional anatomical drawings, and in doing so, it helped further medical understanding. And next is the use of inference mystery boxes. So this is kind a activity, and it helping them use simply clues to infer and predict. This kind of instructional it's also a great way to introduce a lesson, share new content, or begin a new thematic unit, and it can be used with any content area or subject. For example, students determine the contents of a mystery box by making observations about aspects of the natures of science. So, in the end of this activity, the students should be able to distinguish between observations and inferences or interpretations, illustrate how data can be obtained by making non-visual observations. And now let's proceed to the use of audio aids. So those are the use of instructional aids, and that are the dioramas or museums, models, and inference or mystery boxes. And now let's proceed to the use of audio aids. Audio aids defined as models and devices that can be heard and given an image of something. ADS could be recorded materials, radios, cassette players, cassette, and also relatively cheap equipment. And it enables the teacher to modify the teaching methods. And other, it attracts the learner's attention, steers his or her imagination, reduces his or her exhaustion, motivates him or her to be engaged in the learning process, and it helps him or her to acquire expected proficiency in the language skills, and that are the writing and speaking English. For example, as soon as a cassette player is played and the material is presented, the learner is immediately drawn to it. So it means that their attention cough when the cassette player is played. And the use is these aids are sent to reduce the teacher talk and the chalk method. And it is reversely increase the learner's interactions and active participation. So it means that this aids can use to learners that engage actively in learning teaching process. And next is the use of audio and visual aids. So these are the sensory objects or images which initiate or stimulate and reinforce learning. So visual aids are any instructional device that can be seen but not heard, while the audio aids are any instructional device that can be heard but not seen. So these are the motion pictures, televisions, and smartphones. And it gives a complete learning atmosphere for students, and it lets them experience practical expert from the comfort of the classroom. These aids offer the students to have gained a positive understanding of the topic, and this includes are the data projectors, wireless microphones, powered speakers, microphone mixers, and podium. So those are the use of audio visual aids. And now let's proceed to the use of self-instructional materials and technology. So, use of self-instructional materials technology, teaching at a distance by comments in writing on the telephone or an audio cassette or a student's work submitted. Since distance education, it is what happened today. This is used self-instructional materials, and it includes the self-learning module. So, learning experiences in distance education, it can be the self-learning from various media, participations in interactive TV and radio sessions. So since the students can't go to the physical classroom, so they should have to participate the TV and radio sessions, and also they can also discuss with their peer, discussion with peer groups. To sum it up, the use of instructional aids, use of audio aids, use of audio-visual aids, and use of self-instructional materials and technology are used in the classroom to encourage learning and thereby to make it easier and interesting. So that's all about my topic, which is the supplementary method. Thank you.